How's it going, everybody? The PlayStation Store is wrapping up its double discounts as well as its PlayStation Indie sale. Want to take a look at some more deals. Don't have an exact price threshold here, but we'll go over some of the deals we haven't mentioned. At least I don't believe we've mentioned. We uploaded 2 videos. Go check those out, but definitely some solid stuff all around here to go over in this one. So let's get right into it and start things off with a Plague Tale Innocence. It is $11.99. Remember, with the double discount sale, I'm assuming you're a Plus member because otherwise these deals are absolutely atrocious. Plague Tale Innocence is $12, and I really enjoyed this game. This is more of a narrative-driven title. Incredible atmosphere to the game, and even as a story-driven game, it gets pretty engaging, like, fairly quickly. A lot of the times, the issue with story-driven games is it takes a little while for it to build up, but I thought Plague Tale did a really good job of hooking you within the first 30 to 45 minutes. Atmosphere is great. Tone is, of course, incredibly dark, so just keep that in mind. This ain't a game that you play if you need something to cheer you up. Let's just say that. But $12 for a Plague Tale Innocence, a pretty good deal here, and definitely would give that a recommendation. Go play Requiem as well, because that game's awesome. Fallout 4 Game of the Year Edition, $9.59 for this. Fallout 4 is supposed to get an upgrade at some point on the PlayStation 5. It was scheduled for 2023. I thought it would happen in the first half of 2023. Don't think that's gonna happen anymore, but I would still say pick it up and then play it once the upgrade drops. Like, Fallout 4, certainly. I mean, bro, it's a Bethesda game. It had its technical limitations. Let's just put it that way. But with the Game of the Year Edition, you get all the DLC. Like, value-wise, this is a good deal. Obviously, Fallout 4 is one of those games that I feel like a lot of people thought was a little disappointing. The anticipation was crazy going into the release of this game. Kind of wild to think it's already been 8 years since the release of Fallout 4, but I still thought it was okay. Did I like it as much as 3 or New Vegas? Absolutely not, but still a decent open world RPG. Next up, speaking of open world, Middle-earth: Shadow of War Definitive Edition is $5.99. This is a great deal for a great open world action title. Shadow of Mordor is also on sale super cheap. It's like $1.99, which these prices for Shadow of War and Shadow of Mordor, if you haven't played these games, it's ridiculous, so definitely go check out both of them. Shadow of War, an improvement upon Shadow of Mordor, but at this price point, a lot of bonus content included as well. Certainly give this a buy, so $5.99 on that. Next up, we have Mafia Definitive Edition. This is $13.59. Now, this game, I really enjoyed Mafia 1, and this is a full-on remake of that game. It still certainly shows its age from a gameplay standpoint. Like, it's super simple in that regard, but I think from a story, voice acting, presentation standpoint, those elements are really strong. And guess what? Not every game needs to be this expansive 40-hour game. If you want a game that you can complete in a weekend, Mafia Definitive Edition will offer you that. It's like an 8 to 10 hour game. Perfect. It tells its story, gives you a good time, and then you can move on to Mafia 2 as well if you are in the mood to play that. But $13.59 for Mafia Definitive Edition. Think that's a great deal and definitely would give it a look. Next up, we have Mass Effect Legendary Edition. $11.99 is just a disgustingly good deal for this game. Like, a lot of people were excited to spend $60 on Mass Effect Legendary Edition because it's Mass Effect 1, 2, and 3, one of the greatest video game trilogies of all time, even though, like, the thing is, I say it's one of the greatest video game trilogies of all time, but the games that bookend the trilogy, Mass Effect 1 and 3, certainly have their issues. Mass Effect 1 shows its age to a great degree. They did what they could to modernize it and, make it accessible to a 2021 audience when this game came out, but it's a 2007 game, and 2007 was that one year where there were a lot of games that came out that year that are a part of big franchise that they just don't hold up well. I'm looking at an Uncharted 1, I'm looking at a Witcher 1, and Mass Effect 1 certainly falls into that category, but it's still an okay game. Mass Effect 2, one of my favorite games of all time, and Mass Effect 3 is really good as well. Ending aside, for a lot of people, it's still a really well-made game. So $12 for the entire trilogy, great deal there. Next up, Dragon Ball Z Kakarot. The base game is $15.59. This is on Plus Extra, but the Plus Extra version does not give you the PS5 upgrade. Figure that one out, but DBZ Kakarot is a game that I really enjoyed. DBZ is an anime that I grew up watching, so obviously it's gonna hit with me a little bit more, but I thought it was a well-done rendition of the Dragon Ball Z story arc in an open-world action RPG. They do cut some things out, which is a little bit jarring, but for the most part, they get it right. They get it right here for the most part, and, I think up until, like, the end of the Cell arc, DBZ is absolutely fire. I hate the Boo arc. Like, a lot of people disagree with me on that. I know some of you guys just love Gotenks, some of you guys just love Vegeta. I thought the Boo arc was, like, very nonsensical at times. And, like, don't even get me started on the Great Saiyaman, but nonetheless, $15.59 for DBZ Kakarot is a great deal, and I would definitely check that out. Next up, the deal of the week, Sifu, 50% off for $19.99. Want to give this a shout alongside its free update that just dropped. I think this is a great deal for Sifu, although I could easily see this game getting added to PlayStation Plus Extra at some point. Like, this seems like a prime candidate to be a Plus Extra title, given that Sony paid for this game to be a timed exclusive. At least I believe they paid. Otherwise, I don't know why it was a timed exclusive, but, you know, that makes me think it might be a Plus Extra game at some point, but it's a really good game from an action combat standpoint. Challenging is all hell, but $19.99 for it with all the additional content they've rolled out, I would think is a good pickup. Next up, we have Disco Elysium, the final cut, 65% off for $14. Now, this game is certainly not for everybody. However, if you like methodical, narrative-driven games, this is one that I would certainly recommend. It's a game with a lot of decision-making, and it's very replayable, and the writing in this game is some of the best writing that you're going to come across in a video game. Again, it's not for everybody. I've recommended this game to friends, and one in particular kind of chewed me out for recommending him this game. Let's just say he wasn't a fan, but I think most of you guys will enjoy it, and for $14, I think it's a good buy. Next up, we have Streets of Rage 4, 50% off for $12.49. A new entry in a classic beat-em-up franchise, awesome visual style, and if you're into beat-em-up games, I mean, Streets of Rage 4 is a must-play. There is some DLC for it, but definitely a game that's worthwhile to get into, and if you want to play co-op, that is an option as well. Cat Quest 2 is 67% off for $4.94. I really enjoyed Cat Quest. I mean, it's one of those franchises that you go into it not expecting like a game to be completely immersive, but if you want something a little bit more chill, a little bit more relaxing, Cat Quest is always going to be there. It's a simple game, easy game, and an accessible game if you're looking to get somebody else into gaming. It seems like everybody these days wants to play games with cats as the main character. I know a little kitten, big city, little I forget the name of the game, but that game is getting hyped up. Stray, obviously, was hyped up, and Cat Quest is another franchise that has resonated quite a bit, and Cat Quest 2 for sub $5, I think that's a good price. Next up, we have Scarlet Nexus Ultimate Edition, $19.99. I really enjoyed this game. I thought it was a great JRPG. Did it have its shortcomings? Sure. I think a lot of the story being told through the visual novel style, I think people found that a little bit jarring, but overall, the game was a solid action JRPG, a lot of content, especially with the replayability of having two playable main characters. $19.99 for the Ultimate Edition with all that bonus content, even though, you know, some of it is just digital art book soundtrack, but you got the season pass and some other stuff, so $20, I think that's a good price. Next up, we have Prey Digital Deluxe Edition, $9.59 on this. You guys know how I feel about Prey 2017. I think it's a criminally underrated game. You get the base game, Typhon Hunter, and Moon Crash. The studio that did this also did Redfall, which, let's just say they probably should have just done a follow-up to this game or something in a similar vein. Hindsight always going to be 2020. This game didn't crush it from a commercial standpoint, which is so depressing to think about, but, you know, if you haven't played it, $9.59 is a great deal, and I would recommend it. Lost Judgment Digital Ultimate Edition is $27. Now, this is on Plus Extra. However, the Digital Ultimate Edition gets you the base game, the Detective Essentials Pack, School Stories Expansion Pack, and most importantly, the Kaito Files Story Expansion. The Kaito Files goes for $30 alone, so, you know, $27 for this Ultimate Edition is a great deal. I would recommend you to play Judgment 1 first and then play Lost Judgment, but Lost Judgment is great. A lot of content, a lot of variety in its content. It's quite a well-done game, and I would definitely give it a look. Next up, Little Nightmares 1 and 2 Bundle. This is $14.99. This gets you both Little Nightmares 1 and 2, bunch of DLC as well. Both games are really solid atmospheric horror titles. Little Nightmares is one of those franchises that has been received rather well and really has resonated at a higher level than I would have expected. Good job on Tarsier Studios for, you know, creating something here that's an original IP and has become, you know, one of the franchise that, it's not Bandai Namco's biggest franchise, but it's something they can rely on, and we're getting a third game, so that's always good to see. Next up, we have Undertale, $10.04. Undertale is one of those games that I recommend everyone to play. Still holds up in price, given that it's 33% off for $10.04. Just keep in mind, if you do have a computer and you can play games, Undertale goes on sale a lot cheaper over there. I mean, you know, a lot of you guys just want to play your games on PlayStation, and obviously that's fine. But yeah, I did think I should mention that. A lot of interesting thematics, darker tone in this title as well, but $10.04, good price on that. And lastly, Hollow Knight Voidheart Edition is available, 50% off for $7.49. Available on Plus Extra, but it's one of those games everybody seems to really, really love. I wasn't as crazy about it as a lot of other people, but again, one of those instances where I have to strip away my own subjective opinion and look at the reception of this game. I'm more of a Dead Cells guy these days. That's just like the one I play the most, but Hollow Knight was great. art style is awesome. That's the element that really drew me in, but $7.49 on this, pretty good as well. But that is gonna do it for me. Both of these sales are ending very soon, so jump on them as soon as possible, but we should have new PlayStation Store sales rolling out here very shortly. That'll do it for me. Sound off with all of your thoughts in the comments section down below. Thank you for watching, and goodbye. Hey guys, we hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, make sure to hit the subscribe button, and if you're already subscribed, do us a favor and hit the bell icon. This way you'll be notified whenever we post a new video. That's the best way to keep up with all of our uploads, and we usually try to upload 2 videos a day. And with the bell icon hit, you'll be notified whenever we do upload a video. As always, thanks for watching.